Destined Rivals has only been out for 2 months now, and we're already seeing the booster boxes hit and surpass the $300 mark. I'm going to break down what that means, and we're going to talk about a little bit of comparisons and kind of the set as a whole and the future of Destined Rivals. Let's just jump straight into it. And we have to obviously show the booster boxes first. That's the main topic. We're hitting the $300 mark currently, and it looks like we're going to just continue to move past that. Where is the ceiling going to be on these booster boxes in the near future before we get any sort of reprint or anything to help bring the price down? Because right now, just in the past month, we're up almost 20%. Now, these boxes did drop upon release, and then they kind of stagnated around like the upper $240 range until in the last month, supply started to grow a little low, and they just continued to grow and grow and grow. And we are seeing sales at or over $300 for what we're seeing on TCG Player. And we're seeing that reflected in the lowest listings right here. This one technically just a little bit under with shipping. But after this one listing, we're all at 300 plus. And the current listed median price is at 322. So this is going to continue to go up. Just give it a little bit more time. You can see, obviously, as a box goes up in price, the amount of sales goes down. So you can see, as it goes up, there's less sales per day. But like interesting numbers here, just worth noting. In the last month, just on TCG Player alone, obviously not counting any other place of sales, there's been over 1,000 booster boxes sold. Currently only 972 currently listed on TCG Player. So it's going to take a little bit more to eat through this whole supply because the sales have slowed down just because they've gotten more expensive. But cracking that $300 price point is a big deal for a Scarlet and Violet box. Now, if you want to look at the current most expensive booster box of Scarlet and Violet, that is Paldea Evolved. Now, Paldea Evolved currently sitting right around 350, 360. It's come down a little bit. It was earlier in the month as high as 370. Now, the reason I bring Paldea Evolved up, and obviously Paldea Evolved, a good set, been out for a long time, but I just want to talk a little bit about comparatively the most expensive box of the era. Like, can Destined Rivals surpass Paldea Evolved? Let me know in the comments if you guys think that that is possible. But when you look at the sets as a whole right now, if you pull up Destined Rivals, now we moved over to Pokédata just because it's very easy to see the total set value right here. Now, keep in mind, this can fluctuate a little bit. This is based off of like eBay sales for the most part. So some of these prices could lag behind a little bit. And also keep in mind, too, important to note, like we said, Destined Rivals hasn't been out that long. So some of the singles may be a little bit inflated comparatively to Paldea Evolved. But when you look at the set value, Paldea Evolved is only just barely over $1,000 of set value. Not that it's not a nice set. It's a great set stacked with tons of great illustration rares. But kind of currently, you have the Magikarp being the top dog, right? Big card, $240. Popular artist, gaining a lot of traction. Big dog illustration rare, right? But for the most part, that's kind of mostly what it has. It doesn't have another card over the $100 mark. And then currently, when you look at Destined Rivals, and like I said, these singles most likely will come down in price as just more time goes by. It's only been out 2 months, but you have your big chase. You have your Team Rocket's Mewtwo, which is leading the way, 376. Cynthia's Garchomp's come up a little into the 200s. Team Rocket's Moltres at 150. Ethan's Ho-Oh at 140. I know that Team Rocket's Nidoking was at one point at release, dropped down to in the 80s, I believe. So this one has come up over 100. And then you have, Team Rocket's Crobat, but you have some other great illustration rares that are holding some good value as well, like Misty's Psyduck and Ethan's Typhlosion right here. So obviously, double the current set value, 2,000 to 1,000, and you have, like I said, you have to assume that this is going to drop a little bit in value. But you just start to like look at these sets and then kind of take some time, like look at how do you think this is really going to age in the long term. And I do think that Destined Rivals is going to perform very well. It's probably my favorite set of the Scarlet and Violet era. There's so many cards in here that were must-haves for me that I'm currently still working. I got a ways to go working on my master set of Destined Rivals, but it just called to me as a set. So the booster box is already being over 300. It looks like on paper, it looks like a better set than Paldea Evolved if you're talking about set value. So we'll see how long and where the booster box price can go. If it can pass Paldea Evolved in booster box price, that would be very interesting, and that would really shake things up as far as the Scarlet and Violet era. But let's talk about some other stuff. Let's talk about some singles, and let's talk about some other sealed product from Destined Rivals as well. Now, like I said, cards have been coming down, singles have been coming down. Here's the chase card, the Mewtwo on TCG Player. We're currently looking at, they got $375 as the current market, but most recent sale at $360. July 3rd, this was over $400, and now we're seeing it drop down. Like I said, nothing too crazy, but it is down almost 6.5%. So not that big a drop really overall percentage-wise, but definitely saving some money. Dollar-wise, it has dropped a little bit of a chunk, right? And currently lowest listeds are in the 360s, which would indicate that this is going to continue to drop a little bit more and match this current most recent sale price. So Team Rocket's Mewtwo dropping a little bit more, which is to be expected when you compare it to some of the other chase cards of the era. Might drop a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see where it bottoms out. If it ends up in that $200 range, that would be very interesting. That would be good for me because I still need to pick up this card for my master set. So I don't know if that's going to happen per se. Just something to keep an eye on. 58 copies currently listed. And then when it comes to PSA 10 pricing, we're going to hop over to price charting just because it shows a little bit easier way to see the PSA 10 prices. And also we can take a look a little bit better at the artwork here real quick. So there's the Team Rocket's Mewtwo. But currently, and there's not a lot of these cards out in a PSA 10 as well, so just keep that in mind. But around $1,000 for this card in a PSA 10, if you can believe that. We'll take a look at the pop reports in a second, but you can see this is what's happened. It's coming down 1,400 down to 1,000. You can see some of the more recent sales dipping below into the high 900s. So definitely going to continue to drop on the PSA 10 side as more cards are graded, right? PSA still taking a while to get cards out and stuff, so there's probably a ton of these cards currently at PSA. But when we take a look right now, currently only 1,100 have been graded a 10, and I believe the pop report shows it's kind of around 50% gem rate as of now. So actually not the easiest to gem for a special illustration rare, because we have seen that usually the textured cards do grade fairly well. But currently what we're seeing out the gate is around 50%, but that is subject to change, give or take. And then let's take a look at the Elite Trainer boxes as well. Now, these haven't been moving quite as much as the booster box. It seems like the booster box being the main product here, the main thing that most people want. But here is the PC ETB, which has moved up a little bit more recently, cracking most recent sale 195, listed median at 250. PC ETBs will continue to do well into the future. They just need more time, right, for most of these in general. And obviously this is a nice looking PC ETB, although I do think the regular ETB does look a little bit better, if I'm being completely honest. But PC ETB right here with the Wobbuffet promo, we'll talk about that card in a second as well. Currently 187, and lowest listed's pretty much right there, matching that price on TCG Player. So we'll see if this continues to move up and surpass that $200 mark. That'll be a very interesting price point for the PC ETB moving forward. So if you got 300 and 200 for booster box and PC ETB, psychologically, those are big barriers to have broken through. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'll update you guys in the future as we get more price movement there. But I did want to talk about the promo card for a minute. The Wobbuffet is up 32% in the past 3 months, and around almost 20%, 18% currently just in the past month. And at release, it dipped a little. Went from 50 down to 45, and now we're seeing it up as high as 70. Now, there's not a ton of these currently listed on TCG Player either, so we're seeing a little bit of a low supply, 28 copies currently listed. But looks like there's a lot of them listed at the current market price, right around $70. So, and it looks like it's kind of been holding there since, I don't know, the past few weeks, since the middle of July. So we'll see as far as that goes. Looks like it'll probably hold for a while at this price. But PSA 10s, very expensive right now. There's not a ton that have been graded of this card either, I believe. Last solds, we will pull that up. I do have here some of the last solds right here. 370. They've been coming down. This was the most recent one that I could find, at least according to eBay. Before that, we were seeing, and that's just because, once again, these traditionally, like we saw this with every other card, the first to market gets insanely high prices and they come down. But 600 down to 500, down to 400, and now 370 is the most recent that we've currently seen. And this one went on bids. So this will continue to go down in value as more cards are graded, but that's currently what we're seeing. So first to market is usually the best play. If you have a really clean copy of this, especially you get it like at release date, and then you send it in at the accelerated rate for PSA, and you can get that back quickly. You can make a lot of money on these stamped promo cards, but obviously it's a big gamble to be able to even get a PSA 10 worthy copy, and then you got to pay extra to get it graded quick. It's a whole thing. So definitely a risk and reward there. Now, the regular Elite Trainer boxes, which are the ones I said visually look better, I think with like a little bit of the carbon fiber look, looks cool. These haven't really moved that much in the past month, just up around 2%. They've been kind of stagnant a little bit, just under the $100 or in the $90 range. You can see, let's see, where was release date? Like right here, 93. So they've dropped a little off of the release date price, but they've kind of just held this price for a while. And that's currently what we're seeing. It'll be interesting to see if this one, once again, cracks over the $100 mark. So then you got 300, 200, and 100, respectively, between the booster boxes down to the regular ETBs. I feel like, once again, with a set like this, a non-specialty set, the booster boxes are pretty much always going to just maintain that that priority as far as when it comes to what people want. At least for me, I always want a booster box almost every single time when it comes to this. Like PCETVs are too expensive, not usually worth as far as like opening potentially. So I'm going to go with a booster box, although albeit everything's currently expensive right now. But that's what we're seeing as far as the sealed product goes. And lastly, to end it off, we have seen, just to show kind of where a little bit where the demand has been, this is the sleeved booster packs right here, up 22% just in the past month. So that's a pretty big percentage gain, not a big dollar gain, obviously, going from $6.80 just into the $8 mark. But it'll be interesting to see as the booster boxes continue to rise and these continue to rise, where things end up at. So people are after packs, no matter where you can get them, whether it's sleeve boosters, whether it's booster boxes, and then ETBs, like I said, tend to be the ones that haven't really moved as much for this set. So kind of to end that off, do you see a scenario in which this set passes Paldea Evolved? As far as price wise, I'm mainly talking about booster boxes. Do you see a scenario in which that is possible? And like, where do you rank, like I said, leave in the comments, where do you rank this set overall? I know that there's been a little bit of, when it comes to the artwork, a little bit of division amongst people who like this set and don't. And I think a lot of that stems from just a little bit of the disappointment that came from them wanting more from the Rocket side, which I totally understand. And I am with, they definitely could have done better with the Rocket side for sure. But if you take that aspect out, when you start to look at this set, if you can, which is hard to do, take your emotions out and just kind of look at still what it is. I still think it's a really great set. So you take that part out, and there's some really great cards in this set. So Destined Rivals looking good. Like I said, I don't know where it's going to go. I have no idea. The market's too crazy. I don't know if it's going to pass Paldea or not, but it's something that I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on moving forward. And obviously, reprints are going to play a big factor moving forward with this set. And there's been rumors of the Paldea reprints and all of that. We don't really, I feel like we still don't really know enough information about that yet. So, that could play a little bit of a factor, although that set's very old at this point. And I feel like, you know, if they're focusing on sets that are that old, when are they going to be able to focus on the newer sets? Because like Mega is right around the corner, and that's looking pretty crazy in and of itself. So like they're gonna have to print more of that already, I guarantee it. And so anyways, it's just like, when are they gonna, they can't reprint everything anyways. That's always been the topic, is they can't reprint everything. And if they do, it's not gonna be enough anyway. So that's all I have for you guys in this one. It's just an interesting price point, cracking that $300 mark for a booster box, which we did talk about a long time ago. We said, could this be the first $300 booster box at the time? Obviously, Paldea beat it to the punch, but could this be the first $400 booster box? Maybe that will be a topic for another video in the future. But that's all I have for you guys in this one. I'll catch you in the next one. And remember,